I guess that's just as good as we're gonna get the white balance. I'm sorry, there's no like natural light today. Hi everybody, it's November 2nd. That's why there's no natural light. It's so like cold and muggy out. This year has just flown by. It's already November 2nd. We're already almost done with 2017, which I couldn't be happier. I thought 2017 was going to be amazing and it was going to be so fun and like everything was going to work out, and yeah, it turned out to be the exact opposite. So I can't wait to get over with 2017. It feels like so long since I've talked to you guys because the video I recorded for last week I recorded on Monday or Tuesday or something like that. I think it was a Monday is what I said. Since then, I visited my nephew. He is adorable. I visited my nieces and we went trick-or-treating with them. Halloween happened. I work at a mall, so we do the Halloween like trick-or-treating in the mall. This was the first year that we actually passed out candy that I was there, at least, and we were done with all the candy in an hour. We got like 300 something candy. We had like a big pan, which is, gosh, it's about 6 inches deep, and I'm trying to think. It's like 6 inches deep and 24 inches long, and then 12 inches width, I guess, would be it. Yeah. Yeah, so 6 inches deep, yeah. So we had a big tub of that full of candy, and it was gone in like an hour. We were passing out samples, like 3 or 4 of them, and then we just pulled them back. One of my crew members was supposed to be Medea, but then she couldn't get the wig, I guess, and so she came as a vampire. And then the other one was going to do either a mermaid or a cat or something like that, but she couldn't like get it in time or whatever, so she just like wore a tiger hat, which, like, okay, I didn't dress up. I wasn't planning on it, but until it got like closer to Halloween, and by then it was too late. I was looking at like some of those last minute costume ideas, and one of them was a Rubik's Cube. I'm like, that would be cool, but the functionality of it in a work environment would not be great. But my uniform anyway, their uniform is different, but my uniform is all black, so I'm like, I could have just went as Bendy from Bendy and the Ink Machine, but because all I had to do was like throw on some face paint and the little devil horns and stuff. That would be Bendy, because I'm literally in all black. The uniform is black slacks, and mine is black the black polo shirt, and I also wear black long sleeves too, because it's been getting really cold here lately. It's like we skipped fall and went straight to winter. I live in Indiana, by the way, so we experience, there are times where we experience all 4 seasons in one day, and I'm not making this up. We have turned on the air conditioner and the heater in one day before. Like, it's nuts. You will experience every single season in one day. And so in the morning you'll have like a sweater on or whatever. You'll have a sweater on because it's always colder at the beginning of the day. During noontime you can have shorts and a tank top on because it's like 80 degrees. Then it suddenly is a freak rainstorm or something like that, and then it drops down to 40 degrees, and then you need to have the heat on. And people ask how to like dress for that kind of weather, and the only advice we really give people is layers. When it gets to this time of year, you'll constantly see us in hoodies and coats and stuff. That way you could just take on or off layers depending. I know a lot of people who would wear a tank top, then wear their shirt, then wear a hoodie, then wear their coat or jacket or whatever, or sometimes a jacket and a coat, just so they can take layers off or put them on as needed, because the weather just changes so drastically here. Over hours, you know, there was one time last year, I kid you not, it was 60 something, 70 degrees, and there was snow on the ground. Like, there was snow on the ground, and we were just fine going out in a hoodie, and it was nuts. And we had Jesse's boyfriend. He lives in southern Indiana. By the way, we live in like northern Indiana, right next to Lake Michigan. Chicago is like an hour drive from me. So, he came from southern Indiana, which is like the southern tip right before Kentucky. And he even was like, what the heck? Because he's in t-shirt and shorts, and he's comfortable. I mean, he wears that all the time anyway. But, like, he's comfortable. He's not cold at all. And there is snow on the ground, like, and not like a little like sheet or like whatever. There is at least like 4 inches on the ground. So earlier this year we had winter, and then we completely like skipped spring and went straight to summer. There were times where it was 40 degrees, and then the next week it was like 60 or 70 degrees, and then it just stayed that way throughout the entire summer. And then when we went to fall, we had like maybe a week, maybe a full week of actual like fall weather or autumn, whatever. Halloween, it was 37 degrees. Like, it's 37 and it stayed that way. It's been staying that way actually. And this weekend it was, I went to a bonfire this weekend and it was freezing unless you were like almost in the fire. And I had on sweatpants and a really oversized hoodie. So, and we had those hand warmers too. And we had to go inside because it was just so horrible. But yeah, I was actually going to talk about YouTube in this video, but I guess we're going to talk about Indiana weather because that's an interesting topic that I guess not a lot of people are about. Because any other place, and just specifically like Northwest Indiana weather, any other place, you at least get some kind of a warning that the weather is going to change. You know, here you get no warning whatsoever. I remember there was one time, actually was in my time hop just the other day. I went to school and I had the convertible top down. Okay, I used to have a convertible. I had the convertible top down, and I only put that down when it's at least 70 degrees because it can change so rapidly, especially if you're going high speeds. So on the way to school, I had the convertible top down, so it was at least 70 degrees. And on the way back, I had the heat on in my convertible. And of course, the top is out. But like that was in my time hop for like 2 or 3 years ago, like from yesterday. There was a time in December, I remember, it was right when we went on the Christmas break. We had gone home for the last day of school before Christmas break. And I was on the trampoline because it was 80 degrees in December. And then we didn't get a white Christmas or anything. It was actually like 60 degrees in December, or on Christmas. And then in January, we got record-breaking snowfalls and like freezing temperatures. I think that was the year that Frozen came out, actually. Because like the temperature, I couldn't go to the movies, which is like right down the road. Because we were under a state of emergency. We get that like every other year. We get under a state of emergency. It's either because of drastic snowfall, which was about 2 years ago. We had a lot of snowfall, and actually the power went out because it was so freezing, and we had like such a bad snowstorm that the power actually went out. And I called my work the day before. I was still at the same job. I called my work the day before. I'm like, hey, I don't think I'm going to be able to get through because I live in an unincorporated area, so we're like the last people that get plowed. So I'm like, hey, I don't think I'm going to be able to go into work tomorrow. She goes, okay, don't worry, we'll figure it out. So she goes into work, my manager, she goes into work with the owner and stuff, and then nobody's there, and they're at the mall, and mall security comes up and he's like, what are you doing here? We're in a state of emergency. You're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be leaving your house. It's like the only reason that we're here is because we were forced to stay here because we're in a state of emergency. And then the owner's like, oh, okay, well, why don't we go to IHOP? And then the manager and assistant manager at the time were like, oh, we are under a state of emergency. We need to go home. We are not going to IHOP. But we have been under a state of emergency for extreme snowfall. There was one year, like, we got back off of Christmas break, or winter break, or whatever. we got off of break and we were supposed to go back. And then, but we had such a huge snowfall right the day before we were supposed to go back that we actually didn't go back because we were supposed to go back like that Wednesday or whatever, and we had such a huge snowfall on Tuesday that the rest of the week was canceled. And so Monday, and then we went through the weekend, and then Monday was a 2-hour delay. And so that was my senior year? No, that was my, yeah, it was my freshman year. Yeah, it was my freshman year that happened. And we also had to evacuate the school a couple times because of weather reports of a major snowfall. So we've had to evacuate the school before. And during my senior year, that also happened. And they didn't like filter in any like make up snow days. Now every school is required to into the curriculum to build in a few snow days, which are days where you can take off, but if you have an accumulation of snow days, you have to go to school that day in order to not prolong the school year. Because my senior year, what was going to happen was we were going to walk during graduation because of how many snow days we had and how much I had to extend the school year. We had to walk. We were going to have to walk during graduation and then come back the next 2 days to take our finals. And if we didn't go back and take our finals, they would keep our diplomas. Like, we wouldn't graduate. We could walk because they couldn't do anything about it because they weren't going to change the day of the graduation, but we wouldn't actually graduate. And they like made it so you couldn't do a half day. You couldn't because our finals were split up, so you didn't have all your finals in one day. So in order to not have students like go to the first part of class and then not go to the second part, they staggered the finals. So it's like your first class you had a final, the second class you didn't, the third class you did, so that you wouldn't be able to skip any days or any half days or whatever. They were going to make it so that we had to come back after we graduated, after we walked, and we may or may not have even graduated. And parents made such a big fuss about it. We went, I think they extended the school day a little bit every day. And on top of that, they took away Teacher Records Day. They had to take away 2 of our off days. I forget what they were for or whatever, but they had to take away 2 of the days and I think extend the school day by like 5 minutes or something like that. And so we had it to Friday. So Friday was our last day of school. We had all the finals taken and we walked on Sunday. The problem was, because there was no Teacher Records Day and because there was no time for teachers to get in the grades, they couldn't do the diplomas. So we didn't get our diplomas and we didn't know if we actually graduated until about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks later. We didn't actually get our diplomas. They didn't mail them to us anyway either. We had to go in and get them. And if you didn't, you just didn't get your diploma. Also, going back to Indiana weather, actually, during the time, because we graduated on like June 5th or something like that. And so we got our cap and gowns. We're told to wear like summer wear underneath it. Because it's going to be really hot. The cap and gowns are really hot, and if we can have it outside, we're going to have it outside because inside you can only have a certain amount of family members anyway. We had it outside because it wasn't raining. But everybody's in summer wear under these gowns, and it is 40 degrees in June. It's 42, I think, degrees. The wind chill was, oh gosh, like 37 degrees or something like that. It's like, it was freezing. We were all huddled together and the people that were giving the speeches were like, look at what a close class is at. It's just like, no, I hate these people. We're just trying to conserve body heat. My parents didn't actually watch me graduate. They waited until my name was called and then they left because they were so cold. Alrighty, I'll see you guys next time. Alrighty, bye-bye.